Good morning and welcome back to the adventures of Mac and Anthea and part one of our Northern Spain Adventures 2025. So we left home in Andalucía on the 1st of August, it's now the 4th of August. For those of you who follow the channel, you'll realise we're running late this year. We'd normally be gone sort of 2, maybe even 3 weeks ago. But yeah, we've had problems down the farm. We've been working on the farm and the balsa, the water tank we were digging, that run over and we had to do more work on that. Then we had modifications to do to the motorhome, and instead of starting that in the start of May, it ended up starting that in the middle of June and ran into the middle of July. I could only do about 2 or 3 hours max in the motorhome before it got into the sort of mid-40s, and it was just too much. So yeah, we're limited to how much work I could do. But eventually we got it sorted and we got on our way. So as I said, we set off on the 1st of August. We had one stop about 20 kilometres south of Madrid. We then continued on, and being as it was a Saturday, we decided to stay at a little B road before we got to this, just in case this is really touristy. We've never been here before. So yeah, we stopped there, had a really bad night there. I'm not going to say any more than that. I'll go into that sort of thing a bit later on. And then we've moved to where we are today, which I shall show you in a bit also, that park up, and we've had a really good night's sleep. So this is the Embalse de Barrios de Luna. Barrios de Luna is a village sort of near the dam. This is a huge reservoir. This little bit I'm sort of showing you here is just sort of one very, very small leg off it, and it's a quiet bit off it, which is why we're parked here. Some very interesting bits down over there, and we've basically come down to the edge here to check out access for kayaking. Anybody who follows the channel knows this is our 3rd year coming to northern Spain. We want to do some kayaking and we've not managed to do it for one reason or another. We've not managed to get it done, so we decided let's get it out of the way first. So this balsa is pretty huge. It was actually built or commissioned in 1956. That's when it was opened. It holds about 300 million litres when full. And the actual coastline all the way round is 40 kilometres. So as you can see, this is only a smaller section, and I will get to show you the other bits later on in this video. So we're at our first stop. We're taking a few days before we do any activities to actually relax. It's been quite hectic getting up here. We're going to try this year not to push ourselves so much. We've pushed ourselves in the past, and when we've not been able to do it, either through lack of sleep or just things not generally going right, we've got frustrated, and then that's caused stress, and whereas you might think motorhome living, if you haven't got a motorhome, is great, being confined in a small space when you're tired and stressed out with another person doesn't go down well. So yeah, we're going to chill out a bit more. So today we're just going to chill out. We're doing just a little walk. There's some really interesting stuff. We're going to go back towards sort of this bridge over here, follow the coastline along, probably do a couple of kilometres today, check that out. Then we're going to go back to our park up. Okay, so we've just got up to the bridge you saw earlier. We've just come round the side here off this road here. That's the bit where we walked down to. And this is where the reservoir sort of goes round, and it continues on even more round to the left here. That bridge you can see is quite a famous bridge there. I'll write in what it's called. We decided not to go far along here. Anthea's a bit scared of this sort of affair going on here, and I've got to be honest, I'm not particularly keen on it either. Just like Tad, which I forgot to mention earlier, this is actually flooded. It flooded about 16 villages or areas of population to actually form this reservoir. At the end of here, you've got a hydroelectric plant, a mini hydroelectric plant, and from there it goes onto a river down to another smaller reservoir, which then distributes it to various areas sort of away from here in Spain. It's made for agriculture. Originally it was done for industry and agriculture, but its primary use now for this water is actually for irrigating cornfields, beets and that sort of thing. So I think what we'll do is we'll get the drone up, get some drone footage, and then we're going to get back to the caravan, like I said, before it gets too hot. Good morning and welcome back. It's the next day after the day we went for that little walk up to the bridge. Yesterday was really hot in the end, 31 degrees, the same as it was back home, which gave us sort of 37 in the motorhome. It got pretty unbearable at some point, and it didn't matter what we did, how we opened windows up, put air coolers on, whatever, it made no difference whatsoever to the temperature. It was just bloody hot. Anyway, today's a lot cooler. It's 26 degrees today, that's what it's going to be. So I think it's going to be perfect weather for kayaking. So let's get these kayaks set up and get on the water. Okay, so we've got down to the water's edge. The wind's got up a bit, but it's sort of, the sun's only just started coming up, so I think it's probably that first blob of hot air rising, the cold air dropping in its place. I hope so anyway, but just to be on the side of caution, we hope to go sort of this way towards the bridge, but our wind's on our backs, it's been pushing it along, and you always got to be sort of mindful that you've got to get back. And we're not familiar with this actual reservoir like our local one, so I think what we're going to do is, just to start off, we'll go off around that corner there and see what it's like paddling into wind. Obviously, if it's too bad, then we will have to bail, because there's not a great deal of places you can get out here. This is probably one of the best places just here, and a lot of it's steep cliffs. We don't want this situation where the current and the wind's dragging us down to the other end, and then we're going to try and get out somewhere and then try and find our way back. That would not be fun. Okay, so we're on our way. Little bit more wind, like we say. Hopefully that's going to calm down a little bit, and I'd like it to switch, because then we could use the wind paddles on the way back. But you know, we can't control the wind or the weather, and we're just going to have to make the most of it. So we're going to go into the wind right up to here, see how far this goes. It looks like we are managing. We're going to go against the current, we're going against the wind, and we are making, you know, reasonable progress. My concern always is that we go with the wind, with the current, and then when we're tired we don't have the strength to get back. And like I said earlier, this not many places it looks like you really get out, and then when you get out, there's no road to go up to so that we can sort of walk back. It could be a long walk back. So yeah, we're going to be real careful today. We don't know the water, so it's really quite windy here, but maybe it's just because it's funneling through that gorge you can see up there in the distance. It ends there, the water anyway, you know, but yeah, I think we'll turn back round and we'll be careful and play it by ear. Now the wind's just turning me around on its own. I'm not even going to put the wind paddle up because it's quite windy. So we've pulled out and stopped. So I've actually put you on the camera mic so you can get some idea of the wind blowing. So the wind blows across it. It's quite breezy down there. I'm hoping it's going to drop. We'll probably check our phones for the web forecast to see if it is going to drop. It said about 12 kilometres an hour, which would have been perfect, but it looks like that's probably changed overnight. So yeah, we've just pulled over here. We started over by that chuck there, and we're going to have a hell of a job getting back over to there if this doesn't drop. So yeah, I think we'll see if we can wait it out for a bit, and then we'll have another go. So we've got back in. The wind's dropped slightly, but we're not sure we're confident to go around the corner. We're going to go back up to where we first started and beyond a bit up to the end maybe, and see what it's like, but I suspect we're probably not going to have the confidence to go around the corner and into the main reservoir. It's like Anthea's got bug trouble or wasp trouble. She's beating something frantically with her oar, and now seems to be trying to flick it off the kayak back into the water. Yeah, she's beating it again. You got wasps, have you? And she don't know where it's gone now. Is it dead? Has it gone? Is it in her shoe? Okay, so we're coming up towards the end now. Anthea's desperate to go over to the other side, but I'm a bit worried for her because, as we know, you know, that island that only looks a few metres away out to sea or whatever that you swim for can end up being a long way, and the other side could be a lot further than we think. So I think we'll get down the end here a little way while it gets a bit narrower, and then cross over to the other side and paddle down the other side a little bit. So we're getting up towards, this must be one of the rivers that actually flows, it's only a stream currently, into the reservoir and fills it. We noticed on the road when we were coming in, the water, there's a river runs alongside it, and the water was running quite fast in that, so they'd obviously just released a lot of water through the hydroelectric plant and down into that river towards the you know, the open plains for the irrigation. We noticed also around the edges and that when we walk on it, it's very wet. You probably can't pick it up on camera, but it's still very wet a long way up the bank, you know, and obviously the reason for that is probably, you know, a few weeks ago this was a lot higher before they let some water out. So we're fighting against the wind. Obviously the wind is going to get strong as it blows between those two rocks where the sort of the gully narrows there. Okay, we're struggling now, it's really blowing through now. We just noticed some barbed wire as well, so it looks like we're not going any further there. So turn back around, we're going to make a decision whether we're going to try the other side of the river. I don't think so. What do you think?
Go along the edge a bit, but it's not happening, is it?
I don't know, it's hard to judge the wind, isn't it? Anthony's trying to crash into me. I don't know, we go around this side. I think we should stay on this side, sweetie. I think we're taking the chance going down there. Let's calm down now, aren't it? Do you want to have a go?
I'll have a go.
All right, we are going to have a go. We're going to go down the other side for a bit and then see if we can cross back over. So now, yeah, now it's really still. We're just floating along. But yeah, it's deceptive. You could turn back round again and find it's quite hard going, but yeah, we've just got a little still patch. So there's cows on the bank here. A big bull right in the centre there, so I don't think we're going to get too close. Yeah, they really have a good life out here. Just spun you around now. We're pointing straight back at where we started off. I don't know if you can see the little truck there. I won't even try and point it out. I'll put an arrow on later. But it just goes to show that looks distance now, and we've just sort of, you know, merrily paddled a little way around it, thinking, oh, that's nice and easy. Yeah, that's quite a way away, so I don't think we're going to go any further. I'm going to try and make our way back round. So we're struggling now. We're just going to try and get to that little beach there. We've got quite a headwind. Yeah, what I feared, but we are making progress. But it's hard going. Whew. You probably see on the water there, it's getting choppy. Looks like Anthea's made it over into that little dip, and we're just going to try and land at that little beach and have a little rest, maybe our sandwiches, and hope that things calm down a little instead of getting worse. All we can do. Okay, so it looks like Anthea's landed. Oh, managed to get herself out as well. Hold on. Yeah, I'm still fighting the wind a bit, but we're getting there. It's a bit calmer. We've got that sort of bit of headland over sort of to over to my right there. Yeah, she's trying to bow into these rocks. Okay, so we made it. We haven't got sand this side. It's squidgy mud. Oh, look at it. It's horrible. Well, at least I hope it's mud. There's cows just around the corner there, so it could be something else mixed in there as well. Let's give my feet a quick rinse off. Anyway, we're going to have a bit of a rest, and we're going to settle up by this rock here, have a few sandwiches, and then see if we can get around the corner and then round to the other side again. Okay, so we're exactly where we did not want to be. The wind's got right up and we're stuck on the other side of the reservoir. We started pulling the kayaks around on the rope, sort of walking around on the beach, but then that sort of turned to rocks over there. So we were struggling with that. Anthea fell in, so she's been soaked up to her waist sort of thing. And yeah, we were trying to pull it across with a cord so we could get narrower and probably make a dash across. But it's got so windy now, it's trying to sort of blow the kayaks over like that. They're catching the wind, it's always blowing them over, so it's got really dangerous. So it's not ideal, but I'm damn glad we're not on the water and we've got out safely to one side, even if it is the wrong side. And I think all we can really do now is sort of sit it out and wait for the wind to drop, and hope it does drop, you know, before tomorrow. We strapped all the kayaks down. We've boulders either side, strapped them down there. We've got them behind this little bit of a wall here, which seems to be working. Got it strapped on the other side here. So yeah, they shouldn't go anywhere, and we can sort of try and relax, semi-relax a bit until, say, the wind calms down. Now, we have got a rule when we go out kayaking. We normally use Crocs because we can slip them on and off easy in the water, but we always make sure that we bring some other shoes with us, you know, in the wet bag. And I'm glad we've done that today. I mean, we sacrificed today and put them on to save our feet on the rocks and that when we were walking through the water, but we both bought trainers and yacht shoes. I'm damn glad we did, because it's always, in case you have to walk your kayaks out or drag them out, you know, and put them on the wheels and walk, you don't be walking miles on, you know, with Crocs. So yeah, I'm glad we followed our own rules this morning and did that. So I suppose all we can do now is just try and sit it out. There's worse places to be, I suppose. And like I say, just pray that this stops before nightfall. So we're back at the motorhome, and we're feeling damn glad that we got out of all that in one piece. Things turned really bad really quickly out there. I haven't got any footage, unfortunately. We needed all hands on deck, and like I said, we got out of that by the skin of our teeth. But I'll give you sort of a very brief account of what happened. From what you saw of the footage, we got the canoes out and we got them strapped down with some makeshift guy ropes, which were weighed down with rocks, because we were getting some serious gusts that were blowing the kayaks around. From there on, we sort of sat down, hunkered down, and in that dip, and sort of tried to formulate a plan. We got ourselves into a mess, and this is a sort of area here that once you get yourself in a mess, you've only got yourself to get yourself out. You know, there's no rescue services. I haven't seen any law enforcement for about a week. You know, there's just nothing here. So yeah, you've got nobody but yourself to rely on. So we checked out the weather forecast, and that was still telling us it was light winds at 10 kilometres an hour. So we thought there was little point in using that for any sort of solution, because it was totally unreliable. So I then from there went round the coastline a bit further to the narrower part of the reservoir to check that out and see if we could walk round. And it was sort of passable all the way round to the narrower point. So we went back, got to the kayaks. We took everything out of value. We put that in the dry bags to keep that dry and clipped that to inside the kayak. So we got, you know, if we turned over or whatever, that would stay safe and all attached. And then everything else we sort of stuffed down into the bow and the stern, right in there like crocks and that sort of thing. And from there we strapped the kayaks together and we pulled them round. Now we were timing it and we were getting sort of 10-15 minute gusts and 5-minute lulls. So we were using the lulls to sort of pull the kayaks round. Anthea carried the bags and the oars, and I was pulling the kayaks round on the rope all the way round. And we did eventually make it to the narrow part of the reservoir. It was hard going, sharp rocks underfoot or over. I think I probably broke my second biggest toe. And when it wasn't that, it was sort of deep silt and we were sort of sinking into it, and it was trying to suck our shoes off as I was pulling up. So we had all that along with, you know, the wind constantly fighting us. So we got around there and the gusts of wind got up again. We stopped there and we had to make another decision. I had a quicker wander around another recce, reassess, see if there was a better solution. There was not. You know, we had to get through that particular windy bit, and we had a bit cost probably about 40 metres. Now, normally in those circumstances, you know, it's something a bit dangerous like that, I like to go and try it myself first before I put Anthea through it. We couldn't do it that on this occasion because the hardest bit is actually, you probably know, getting into the boat and getting your oar, holding your oar and getting moving. So we decided that Anthea was going to go across first. We got her in a boat, sort of in a shelter bit between two boulders on the edge. Got her oar in her hands and whatever, and then I pushed out up to my waist and gave her a good hard shove. Few paddles, stiff paddles across, and she was over on the other side and out. Then I had to do the same. It wasn't quite so smooth for me because again I was contending with the wind, trying to get in by myself, trying to get me oar out and everything, but I got across as well. Now, I would have thought we're back on the other side, that would have been the end of it. Oh, but no, it couldn't be. We pulled them along the shoreway and it got too deep. We had to get back in the kayaks, but and paddle it all away because we felt fairly confident we were next to the shore, but we had limited control because we're taking the skiffs, a little fin off the bottom. Bloody fly bothering me now. Off the bottom. And and we were losing control. At that point, Anthea's kayak turned to one side, gust of wind come, blew it and capsized her completely. So she was there underneath her kayak, but luckily we stayed near the shore and it was shallow. So she sort of got up, and the only casualty really was her sunglasses, which went. So then we eventually made it back, got out, and even then it still hadn't finished with it. The split second we took our hand off the kayak, and sort of putting the wheels back on, the gust got over and lifted the kayak clean off the ground, probably about 10 feet, and blew it and landed down in a gully, luckily not back in the reservoir. But anyway, eventually, we got the wheels up, we wheeled back up, and we made it back to Hobbit, you know, our motorhome. And like I say, we were damn glad to get out there in one piece because it was really dangerous. I'm not going to lie, I'm not one of these people who likes to sort of dramatise things. I'm more like to go the other way and make light of it, but we were lucky to get out of that in one piece, you know, and relatively unscathed. So I think, more or less the takeaway from all of that, and what I've learned from that, again, because it was a damn stupid mistake, I'd already decided that the conditions weren't great, and, you know, we should have stayed near to the shore on that one side and had a little pad around and have done with it. Going over to the other side was a bad mistake. As soon as we got up there, around the corner a bit where it's fairly calm, and then we started to come back, the wind increased and it was even worse, and that's a really bad, dangerous condition. So I should have trusted my gut and not done that. And I think it's also bear in mind, you know, an important thing to remember, and this is with many of our activities, is you're there on your own and there's no one to come and help you. Any mess you get yourself into, you've got to get yourself out of. And I think we're just really lucky that we're both pretty sort of grounded people. We managed to stay calm, we didn't panic. We sat down, we discussed it, formulated a plan to get ourselves out the mess we got ourselves into, which worked. And like I say, we're here to tell the tale and do some more adventures tomorrow. So we'll put that behind us. We've dumped the kayaks down the side there. They'll stay there till tomorrow, and we'll give them a good clean and put them away. And then we're going on a bike ride up into the mountains, and that'll be a view down onto the reservoir. Don't know how that's going to go. Hopefully we won't drive off a cliff, but I think the chances of us actually drowning are pretty slim anyway, so at least there won't be that. So I think what we do is we'll call it a day there. I'll bring you back in the morning to go on this bike ride. Good afternoon and welcome back. It's the day after our kayaking misadventure, and today we're going to get off on a bicycle ride. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to get straight on with it, and I'll fill you in where we're going and also what we've been up to this morning. And we're off. one of the things we tend to do to stop, you know, late arrivals, messing up our sleep pattern and that, is we go to sleep an hour later than we normally would at home. Normally what we do is we go to sleep between 10:30 and 11, but when we're out on these trips we go to sleep between sort of 11:30 and 12. The reason for that is most of the late arrivals, apart from the very worst culprits, turn up between sort of 11 and 12. And if we go to sleep at our normal time and then we get woken up, we all know how that is, you know, you struggle to get back off to sleep again. But if we wait and give everybody a chance to sort of, who's going to be late, come and be late, you know, and get settled down and then go to sleep, then that works out a bit better for us. It's not ideal, you know, it's not how we like to sleep, but it's all we can really do, you know, to limit the damage. And of course, that then in turn means that we start our activities later. So yeah, we were up about 9 o'clock. Another thing right after that is, obviously we didn't clean or do anything to the kayaks last night. There's no chance after the day we had. So what we did then is the first thing this morning was clean all the kayaks. It's important to clean all the stains off them and everything, or any mud on it, so it doesn't stain and get stuck on there. So we had a bloody good scrub on the kayaks this morning, and then the second most important thing is make sure they're really dry and you've dried them right out before you pack them away, otherwise you end up with mould and deterioration on the plastic. So that took up most of our morning, and they were particularly dirty. They were covered in mud and all sorts after the horrendous day we had yesterday. So hence we're starting off a bit later, but this bicycle ride today is only going to be about 8 kilometres. No real idea where it's going to take us, but it's meant to be a viewpoint that looks down over the reservoir, so I'm thinking it's going to be up that mountain up there somewhere. I think I could probably even make out a bit of the road. So yeah, we're going to go up that mountain, check out the viewpoint, and look down over the reservoir. Then we're going to carry on round to what's the little village. We may stop for a quick drink there or something, see what happens, and then we're going back. So yeah, start at midday, but only a short bike ride. Okay,
destination is on the left.
Okay, so we're just turning off onto our left here, off the main road, and what I think is going to be a track. Yep. And up here, I've just set the sat nav up to that first point there. So now I think we'll stop, reset it up to get up there, just so it doesn't try to take us around some crazy way. I'll do it in little sections. So we've never been down this track before, don't know the route. I've mapped it out, Google Maps, and then switched it to satellite, and then gone to Google Earth just to get some ideas. So we're obviously going to have a climb, you know, it's a viewpoint, so there's no way around that. But I think we're going to sort of come up, follow the edge of the actual new toll, or fairly recent toll road here. I think it's at AP3 or something. Yeah, we're going to follow the edge of that up, and then up to this viewpoint, as far as I can tell. Oh dear. Well, this doesn't look good. Oh. Right. There is another way up to this, obviously, round the other way, which is the way we're going to come back down. So I think we'll retrace our steps back to the main road and see if we can get round the other way. So we're coming back up to the road again. From what I recall from the map, if you follow this up along here, there's a little village, and from that little village there's a trail going up the opposite way to this this viewpoint. So let's just hope that's open that way as well, otherwise it's going to be a really short bike ride. Yeah, that's all we can do. I won't set the sat nav or Google Maps until we get there, otherwise it's just going to try and take us up the way, which obviously we can't go. So let's get a bit further down this way. Okay, so we've got to the other end of the village, and it's started giving us directions again. I will stop and double check, make sure you know it's right, but yeah, it looks like it's just rerouting this different way. So we've been having a Google Maps moment, stop back on ourselves a few times. Obviously it only works so well on these sort of paths. Real steep climb here. Bike's getting up it no problem. Anthea's already done it. And this I think is looking right. Going by the cemetery. Wait. That's steep, wasn't it? So hopefully we're on the right route and we're going to get up here. Even though Google Maps is telling us no, we're not doing well here. This is a dead end, Anthea.
Turn left.
So we've just stopped at Cemetery, consulted the map, and it looks like we're going up this trail here. It looks a bit rough. Don't know if you want a lot of hassle today certainly not after the day we had yesterday. Anthea's feeling a bit apprehensive, and I think probably rightly so. You know, we just can't have 2 days like that in a row. So I think what we're going to do, if Anthea don't mind, we're going to have a little go up this trail. But if it's silly and hard going and just not much fun, we're probably going to bin it for today and go and you know, do the services on the motorhome. Okay, so I've walked up that trail a while and it's horrible. It's a hiking trail, you know, and we just don't feel up to, you know, struggling all the way up there today. So I think we're going to just go back down to this village. We'll have a drive out for the village, we'll ride out for the village and explore the road route. It's quiet enough, so it should be quite a pleasant ride. Okay, so not what we planned, but it's still very nice along here. Lovely country roads, no real traffic. So I think this will do for today. Very nice. I suppose another little hamlet we've just come into here. See quite a few entrances to a walk there, but they seem to be all fenced off a bit. Maybe they've got livestock there and it's not suitable for walking. It's a nice little place. Okay, so we got to that little village up there, and that was basically the end of the line, unless you want to start going up trails again, which I don't think we're really up for today. So I'm going to take a nice steady ride back. We are going to stop near the tunnels again because it looks down on the spot where we had to try and get across the reservoir yesterday, and where we really struggled, you know, with the wind blowing through. We see that from a different angle, so I'll show you that so you can get some idea of what all that was about. Rather than me just filling you in at the end last time, you know, and trying to describe it to you, you'll actually physically see it. So we've just found a nice little spot under the tree here. We think we're going to stop. We've got our sandwiches made, we've got our chairs with us, so we may as well make full use of them and have a little stop here and a bit of a break. So I've just stopped here on this bend here. This is where we struggled before. I can't really show my fingers, so I'll put it in arrows later. We were stuck just around the corner there, sort of around there to the right, and the wind was blowing straight down this way here, quite strong. And we was having to get the gaps in the wind to sort of pull the kayaks around the edge here, all the way around here. And then you can see sort of this rocky point here. We had to sort of wade up to our waist to get through, to try and get onto this flat platform here. And then sort of, this is a nice part of the reservoir, get across to this side and follow it along. Now it looks nothing today and it looks completely calm. Of course it bloody is, we're not on the water. Both days, both sides of when we went out kayaking was calm like this, and actually it looks like the breeze is even coming the opposite way. But yesterday the wind was blowing a gale straight through that sort of gully, that little gap there, blowing it straight through there. The water was roughing up with little waves and everything. Yeah, it was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Hello. So that's us back off the bike ride, everything packed away and ready to move on. We're going to go to the motorhome service point. It's about 15 kilometres away. There's a lot of motorhome service points around these sort of areas. That's one of the reasons we come here. You know, there's good service. The next one's about 50 kilometres away and we're going in that direction. So we'll go and get the services done and we'll bring you in when we get to our next park up. And so we arrived at the small town of Medellina, emptied our wastes and filled up our water. After that, we parked round the corner, both had 2 good showers and then returned to the motorhome service point to top off the water tank again with the magic watering can. From there, we filled up with fuel from the local service station and then topped up our food from the local mini market. After that, we retraced our steps along the edge of the reservoir, stopping at various viewpoints to take additional footage and enjoying the final scenery of this beautiful reservoir. So what did we think of this location? Did we enjoy it and would we visit again? The answer to that question is a definite yes. Despite both of the activities we tried to do not turning out the way we'd planned, we still enjoyed our visit immensely. The vibe there was very good, it was very quiet, despite being August, the place was practically deserted and we probably had some of the best night's sleep we've ever had in the motorhome, completely undisturbed. In this visit we barely scratched the surface. We saw loads of hiking and biking trails and the water is perfect for water sports, despite the reservoir chewing us up and spitting us out on our little kayaking expedition. And so sadly we reached the end of the reservoir, we waved goodbye and moved on to our next adventure. And so that brings us to the end of our visit of the Embalsa Barrios de Luna. From here on we're going to be climbing up into the mountains. We've got probably 1 to 3 days here where the temperatures are reaching sort of 32 degrees. It's just a bit hot. So we're going to start our climb up into bear country actually. We'll be stopping off for doing various activities on the way, and the activities we'll be doing, well, you'll have to wait and see. So please hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss part 2. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.